Welcome to Life Workshop, where we discuss the forgotten basics. So the topic of this episode is when to be an expert or mediocre. So here we are, Bo and Mo, your most favorite people ever.
Hello.
So let's start. I'm going to start with asking you a question. And actually the audience, if you can, participate in this, obviously. Your answer would not get recorded. So that's the good news. But so Bo, what are you really good at? What are the things that are really good at?
I don't know. Stuff.
Can you say the names?
I don't know. How can you tell? I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to tell you that.
So you're a plumber. Are you a bad plumber?
I'm fine. I'm adequate.
That was a very good advertisement for yourself. Okay, maybe I should say this. It was 2 years ago, I think, for Christmas, you brought me some baking.
Mm-hmm.
That I said you're a better baker than a plumber.
Yeah.
That was a joke, but I should say the baking was amazing. In all honesty, it was just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So you're really good at, as a plumber, you're really good at. As baker, I know you're good at.
Yeah, for
really
a
good
couple,
at, I would say.
For a couple things.
Yeah. But now, in some other stuff, I'm guessing, so I'm going to just ask to see, are you good at them or more of a mediocre or not really good at all? When it comes to cooking.
Okay.
So,
sorry. When it comes to, I don't know. I'm all right, I guess. That's so subjective.
Okay.
But I think I'm fine.
What about gardening?
I could be better.
Okay. And then playing football?
No.
Okay. So basically, the moral of the story is this. We are good at some stuff. We are not really good at some stuff. And we are mediocre or we are very good at some stuff. We cannot be very good at everything. And it's not a good idea, actually.
Right. Yeah.
Because otherwise, you put a lot of attention and effort on everything. Why? It's just that it's very important to realize and to think which are the things that we want to be really good at, which ones that we are sufficient to be just a mediocre, and which one, I just don't care. For example, when it comes to myself, I think as a physio, I'm pretty good. As a podcaster, the subjects that we pick, the way that we talk about them, personally, I think is very good. I really do believe it is very good. The way that we, execute it definitely needs some help. But, for example, when it comes to cooking, I'm just know a little bit enough that I can survive. Gardening, well, my plants normally they don't die. Normally. And if they do, it's their own problem, not mine.
Well, you're getting better and better at that, aren't you?
Yeah, kind of. Not really. When they ask for what kind of plant it is, I said it's a green one. That's all I know. But anyway, what I'm trying to get at again is that we should decide what are the things that we are going to be good at versus what we are going to be mediocre, which one and we don't care for. And the reason I bring this up, because when we get opinionated about something, we develop an idea, it becomes, again, are you really good at it that you develop an idea? Or you're a mediocre or you just don't know at all? And sometimes the question becomes, I have asked, sometimes I ask people, do you get educated about a subject good enough before you develop an opinion, or vice versa? That you develop an opinion and then you go find any education is out there to prove your point.
I've always heard that's not a good way to do it.
That is not a very good way. But very frequently...
I think that's what happens a lot, though.
Very frequently we do that. Very frequently. For example, we, as a general rule, we accept a religion, we inherit it, we inherit a culture, and then we want to, and we have inherited. It's not something that we made a decision Normally, and then we find all the reasons why it is the best. We go educate ourselves to prove our point. That's where I'm going. And now it's about that. Now I'm going to bring it a little bit closer to home. This COVID thing that happened, vaccination and anti-vax. Both parties, I'm not taking side. Or climate change, pro-climate change, anti-climate change. Often people are not that educated at all. They develop an opinion, an idea about it. And then after that, they study as much as they can to make sure that they have a point to make. And the good thing, we have Google for it. If you want to prove that Earth is flat, you can go Google it. I'm sure. Actually, I did that once personally. You will find people for real. I did Google it personally.
Oh, I did too. I listened to a whole thing. I was at work one time and I had it playing.
Yeah. That there were, I think, 3 or 4 of them. They were scientists, and 3, 4 that they were Earth flatters, and then or flat earthers, whatever that it goes.
Yeah.
And then they were just discussing why their point is valid. Of course, when it comes to the scientists, well, come on, they are scientists. They know more than we do, and normally in their field, not in any field, but in their field, obviously they are well educated. So if they develop an opinion based on their education, that's one thing. But sometimes we develop the opinion with no education, but as I said, we do try to find the education somehow to back it up, to back up the idea or the opinion or something that we have developed. Mm-hmm. And we do this very frequently, and that is why we get into a lot of arguments. So I'm going to bring it back home again. When it comes to vaccination, that was a hot topic. When it comes to climate change, that it is right now. That very frequently, or even political, views that we have, that sometimes some people that I'm saying, I was watching this American news that the guy said, we have been born right wing and we are right wing and we are a full blood right wing.
I don't think that's how that works.
Honestly, it was something like that. I'm not kidding you. And he was so proud of himself. And it looked, well, that's not the smartest thing you said, buddy.
Yeah.
But
you can't be proud of the things. Say if he was born that way, you can't be proud of that. You can be proud of something you're born with because you didn't earn it. You didn't.
Look at you. Did you watch my TED Talk that I did? That is what I said in my TED Talk.
I just made that up now.
Whatever. That was my line. Inherited or created the identity. But anyways, what I'm trying to get at, sometimes we do, very, very frequently, for example, the culture that we develop. Myself, for example, being born in Iran, very frequently, I'm very proud of my culture. And we say that all the time, don't we? You should be proud of your culture. Why? I was born in a culture. Why should I be proud of it?
Yeah, that's true.
Why should I even follow it? Who said that? And if you don't follow it, or you have lost your identity, well, that was not my identity to begin with.
Yeah.
Or sometimes as I change, my identity changes. What's your issue? Do you think that I have to stay the same way for the rest of my life? That is how growth happens. Then you change.
Well, because if you don't do that, then they can't put you in a box, and you can't be identified and put on a shelf and said that you're this way.
Play your role.
Yeah. Exactly.
Actually, that is what it is. Yeah, just play your role. That is what you're supposed to do. That is how you're supposed to feel.
Yeah. And then the culture thing's stupid too, because it's like they don't even want a culture to change. Like, things change over time.
Yes.
But they're almost holding you back. They're like, no, you have to change. You have to be this way. You have to eat pierogies and do weird dances.
Actually, we do it in different way. For example, right now we are complaining about the new generation. Sometimes they do some dumb things, and some of it is absolutely dumb. We don't want to go there. But for example, say, this new generation is not as good as us, And then when sometimes people, they talk like that, I say, do you know probably your parents, they said the same thing about you? I had actually a buddy of mine that he said, Mo, I'm really worried about my son. I said, why? Because he spends a lot of time on his, gadgets and, plays. I said, when you were his age, did your parents have any concerns about you? He thought for a moment. He said, yes. My dad said I watch too much TV. I said, what happened to you? This friend of mine is a specialist. So well educated. I said, what happened to you? So why do you think your son is going to be different? And of course, as I said, I'm not saying this necessarily that anything the new generation does is good. Not by no means. I'm not saying that. But it is not that, when we do something, we want to look at it in a different way and analyze it where it says, because every time we complain about a new one, it's anything new is bad normally. I mean, I should say.
Did you just say anything new is
No,
bad?
just a moment. Actually, often as a general, there is a graph that I have forgotten what the name of the graph is. Just seriously, anything new comes out in the market. There is 4% that they take it very quickly. It doesn't matter what it is. 4% take any new idea. There is another 16%, I believe, that they follow up with that very quickly as well. But then the remaining, it takes them a lot longer. And normally they find a problem with the new stuff. Of course, now we are
That doesn't mean that it's bad.
But I mean, when
This means that people don't like it. They don't like to accept new things for the most part.
Sure.
Because people want...
Like we say, technology is bad. I mean, technology takes away jobs. I mean, good. They may not say that it's bad, but they say they don't accept the new technology as quick. But it takes them some time to accept it. I think we are getting far away from the main subject of, do you want to be an expert or mediocre? So what I'm trying to say is this: we want to make it, because there is so much attention we can pay to something. I mean, we can have, and then so paid accordingly. Make sure that you do the right thing. So for example, you pick the right stuff. Some stuff, for example, in the profession or the job that you do, I mean, definitely you want to be good at. You don't want to be a mediocre. For some of the stuff, but 1 or 2 or 3 maybe are the things that you want to be really good at. And you may never ever be the best, but doesn't matter. But you want to be really good at. For most of the stuff are mediocres or we don't know at all. So let us play our roles accordingly. I'm going to bring this up. A buddy of mine, he's an engineer. One day we were talking, then he was talking about the economy and that Trudeau government has done this, the finance minister made this mistake, they should have done this and that. And I said, hey, whoa, buddy, how do you know all this stuff? He said, I go study them. I said, but you're an engineer. You're not a finance guy. Do you think you know more than the finance, minister or something? Or I don't think you have the knowledge, nor you have the information. Why do you worry about it this much? And even if you're right, I said, let's just put the odds even in your favor. Even if you're right, what can you do about it? Why do you sweat it so much? He was taking it very seriously. This applies to people that they get too worked up, over things. Myself, I have been like that before, but I have grown up. So grow up. I said, if you cannot make a difference, if you cannot change something, then don't worry about it.
But if you don't try or get excited about changing something, you never will. Then nothing will ever change.
It is not the excitement part of it that does. If you can't make a change, go make a change.
Okay. But you just said,
but you don't have
do
to
it.
get too. No. He gets so worked up about it, but he cannot do anything about it. That was my thing. About the finance, what could you do? And if there is something that you can do, then do it. But yelling and screaming and just, pulling your hair off, it doesn't do anything. With what I'm saying,
sometimes maybe he just needs to get himself stoked up.
When I'm saying this, I mean about all of the people that they become activists in an aggressive way. When I say aggressive, that they get too far. And it doesn't matter. This activism is towards the things that are good or bad. Doesn't matter. It won't work. Do your part. Personally, for example, I'm pro climate change, and the reason that I am
pro climate change,
meaning okay. I should maybe correct it. I believe just because the big boys and the girls in that club of climate change, the scientists, they say climate change is existing, so I say it is existing. Then I ask, what the hell do you want me to do to be a good, member of the society? So I try to follow, that's all.
Yeah,
But I never get
what?
into an argument with somebody who is against that to prove a point, because I don't have the knowledge. The same thing comes to vaccination. Unless, for example, somebody questioned that I do not trust them, then that's another story, for another night. But if the issue is not that, I just leave it in the hand of the experts. And if really, as I said, if I want to make a change, don't take me wrong. A part about this. Myself, trust me, I have made a lot of, kind of dust here and there. For example, with the city of Regina, I said they were changing the sidewalk, that it didn't make sense to me. So I asked them questions. But really, it was a genuine question. And sometimes they didn't want to answer it, but I escalated it till they came up with an answer. And it went up, and they gave a proper answer. The answer was not proper.
The only thing I don't
or for example, when it came to some other things, I'm not saying, when I say this, by no means I'm saying sit quiet and take everything. Not at all. Some stuff that I have done now, I'm not going to say the name. I will leave it for later on, that I will bring it. But that I have done a lot of stuff. But I never go and question, for example, the city of Regina, hey, you stupid people, you did this. But I said, why did you do that? It doesn't make sense to me. When they brought up the answer was just a kind of a, foolish answer. I said, it doesn't make sense at all. But I went very genuinely by asking again question, deepening the question. And, as a matter of fact, it made some changes. I don't want to go now too far into that. But I just did that. And that was all I could do. I couldn't do anything else. But I'm not going to get too excited about it. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, the only thing I don't like about when you say that stuff, because you've said this before and we've had conversations about it, right? This, do what the experts say and don't get excited about it and don't really think too hard and just do whatever. You're just paying lip service to it because you don't really care about it. Like, you could care less about climate change, right? So you're like, yeah, okay, the experts say whatever, and yeah, okay, I believe it, but I'm not doing jack shit about it, or I'll do whatever. But I'm not. Actually, my life isn't changing. It's not really affecting me. It's not really doing anything. So I'm free to say, yeah, sure, do whatever. It's not till you actually care about something. Like, you care about the sidewalk thing, so you're doing something about it.
As a matter of fact, about the climate change, believe it or not, a lot of friends I don't know if I've had the same conversation. I have said one major, the biggest concern I have about the whole world, I have said actually, is climate change. And the reason I'm saying that, because I have heard, again, from the scientists what it does. Because I believe a lot of other things like racism, discrimination, poverty, this thing, all of them, they will be resolved. I really believe it's getting better and better. I know that some people may disagree, but you're wrong, I'm right, because I'm talking behind the mic. No, I'm just But actually, the climate change is the only thing that I think the most important thing, because the way that I have understood it, which kind of I agree with it, we are not taking action, fast enough. But again, I'm not gonna go too crazy about it. I do my part. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't mean because I'm not raising my voice, it's not important. That's what I'm saying.
What have you done?
For the climate change, I said I do my part, and I try, for example, to have the conversation as we do have right now.
Okay.
That's all I can do. I cannot force anybody into anything. Just I do it that way. But I wanted just to add one more thing before we go too far. I had one of my friends once. He said that he likes. We were talking about the same subject. He said that he likes to get semi-educated about the stuff so that he can question the experts. I said, when you say question, do you mean asking more appropriate question to learn more, or are you meaning questioning them? Which actually, that is what the second thing we meant. I said, so you think by knowing a little bit, you want to get semi-educated to question, in a questioning the authority of the person who knows a lot more. I said, I'm not sure. You're looking for a fight. I'm just now learning how the techniques to make the fight a little bit more interesting. So why do you do that? You can just ask simple question. Yes, if you want to get educated a bit, so that you can have your questions, they become more appropriate and you can learn more. That's very good. Good on you. But if you're learning to become an asshole and make somebody's life a little bit more difficult, it's very inappropriate. I'm sure it has happened in any job, it happens in any profession, that somebody who knows a little bit, for example, about plumbing, and comes and questions the decisions that you have made.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Instead of versus questioning, if they would come and ask a question, it would be very different. Hey, Bo, for example, I know this can be done this way too, or I believe I've heard it can be done this way. Why you're not doing it this way or doing it the other way?
Well, my
something like that.
It's actually kind of difficult because they tell, like, or I've heard a lot. You have 5 different journeymen, you do something 5 different ways, and they'll all meet a code. So, you know, and it's tough when people come and question you on why you've chosen to do something a certain way, and sometimes you just, well, that's just the way I chose. Right or wrong, it worked properly, it passes, and you know, it passes the inspection or something, but someone just doesn't like it, or they would prefer to do it another way or something. But that's when things get a little bit difficult, right, and dicey, right?
And this is where I'm going. The tone of the language would change if you're asking a genuine question because you know a little bit more than the average Joe, versus if you're questioning the person. The tone will change and will make it not friendly. And that is where I'm going. If you're getting educated semi-educated to ask more appropriate question, good on you. But if you're doing it to be more of a jerk and you know make somebody else's life more difficult and you think you're the smart one, then maybe don't do that. Actually, somebody said that if you only know half the story, you don't know the story. And normally I say it's very dangerous when you know a little bit and you think you know. You're better off to know that you don't know.
I guess, so wouldn't you say then there is a time and a place, though, to actual question a person rather than asking questions?
You mean questioning? If that,
yeah, again, I think there's got to be a time and place, though, when you do have to question a person. That would be a good thing that you should think about, so then we can talk about that one day. When do you question a person about something rather than asking questions about a subject or whatever? When do you actually question a person? And I guess there.
Columbo. It was that the show. Do you remember years ago? I was a kid.
I'm too young, old. Huh?
It was Columbo. I think he was a police officer or a detective. He was a Detective Columbo. That he would go ask very dumb questions when it was a mystery that he wanted to solve. And this was very interesting. Personally, I'm trying to get better at it, that when somebody says something, to be able to ask genuine questions, not to, I try, sometimes I fail, but to be very impartial and ask appropriate questions versus questioning them, to make them more aware. And that is what I'm saying. So I don't know if there is a point, I don't know as of now, that questioning somebody with their opinion, I want to prove you wrong. So I will do anything to prove you wrong. Even if you give the right answer, again, you're wrong because I want you to be wrong. That's a fight, and somebody should lose, somebody will win. But if you're really genuinely asking a question, often, most of the time, both parties win. For example, with the concept of city of Regina that I'm saying, I'm not saying, one change happened, I'm not going to talk about that, but the other things, I'm hoping the guys who are in charge of making those decisions to start thinking a bit more appropriately. There is no way I can prove them right or wrong. There is no way that I can change them, actually. I mean, there's no way of doing that. The only thing that I could do with asking just very genuine question to get them think a little bit differently. Now, is it going to make them to do something different? I don't know. But I'm hoping I have got them to think a little bit differently from a perspective of somebody, the outsider, that how it looks like. But anyway, at the end of the day, this is exactly...
Whoa. That would be called a what? What's that called?
I say
a paradigm shift.
Okay.
You You were supposed to study that.
Okay, I went that way. But anyway, at the end of the day, again, you want to really practice to, if you get some sort of, you want to again make a decision. I want to make it very quick in here. You want to make a decision where you want to put most of your attention, where you want to be really good at, where you're a mediocre, and where you're not good at all. And then just know where you are at, and don't act the other way. Even if you're very good at, don't be humble and say that, no, I'm not that good. No, just don't do that. Just be honest. But if you're mediocre, just it's okay. You don't have to be the best at everything. I'm an exception. I'm kidding. That was a joke. And then really, just keep it that way. And when you get educated about something, use that in order to have more appropriate question, more defined question to learn more. Not with the intention to defeat somebody. That's all I'm trying to say. It takes the argument away and really make the conversation, I think, more pleasant and productive. Otherwise, they're not a conversation. It becomes an argument. It becomes like these politicians that they talk over each other and you don't know who said what, and everybody talks everything. Anyways, this is another way that we make life simple, by the way. Where I go. Life is simple. We make it complicated. This is one way of it. So anyway, hopefully this has helped. And again, the question for you guys at the end is this: that why do you get educated about something? Are you getting education first in order to develop an opinion or position? Or do you do the vice versa? You develop an opinion and then you go get, educated to prove your point that you're damn right. Okay. Take care all. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.